there are 2 items you're going to need on your desk. I passed one out already, and it looks like this. This is your proof paragraph planner that you guys did yesterday. If you didn't get one, it's because I never got one from you. And then you have page 88. What page?
88.
Which says your proof paragraph writing template. The very first thing I want you to do is write your name. I'm going to show you how to complete this. You won't be completing it for both characters. You're just going to be completing it for one, and it kind of shows you how to write that paragraph. If you complete this, this is your paragraph. Does that make sense? It's kind of like a cheat sheet. It's called a proof paragraph writing template, and it guides you into writing a complete paragraph. It makes things so much easier. So if you notice, my event was talking about Miguel Spire. I want you to turn and talk to each other about what your event is. And cut. Now I want you to focus on the first character that you wrote on your ticket. So mine is Esperanza. I want you to turn and tell each other who your first character is. And cut. It's very amazing to me how Anthony and JT, I'm sure there are more of you, how it's easy for me to know that you're actually doing what I said. I really appreciate that. Because this is actually the easy part. You're going to take that character and you're going to write it down. So right here it says character's name. You're going to write your first character's name right here. Now, do you have any reason to misspell your character's name? No. So what I want you to do is write your character's name and then have the person beside you check to make sure that spelling is correct. Anytime that, well, y'all are allowed to talk. I can't say anything. Okay, so my character's name is Esperanza. Right here it says felt. Now you're not going to complete every single line. Right here, I wrote does nothing, but there's a reason why she does nothing. So I'm going to write down she felt confused and does nothing when the fire takes place. Now you're going to write down something completely different. You're going to tell me how your character felt and what reaction was there. You're not going to give me textual evidence just yet. You're just going to tell me how that character felt. And mine was simple. She felt confused and does nothing when the fire takes, oh sorry, that's wrong, takes place. I made my first mistake. Capital, oh you got it. It's on that ticket. That's why I told you it's going to make things so much easier. JT asked a good question. Can you look at your ticket? Yes, I encourage you to. Because that ticket is your hard work. Alright, so I'm going to show you Cordarius. And I know his thought process is there. So at this point in time, please be at a voice level 0. I'm going to start writing names on my Post-it. For every letter, remember it's 50 write-offs. This is Cordarius. He decided to do his on Miguel. And it's actually one of my favorite no's because he's right. There's just teeny tiny things that we can guide him on. So Miguel is spelled correctly. I noticed that. He felt frustrated and tried to be proactive. That sounds great. That's exactly what I'm looking for. What are some things, Jada, that he did right? He added the punctuation. He ended it. That's exactly what I'm looking for. Something else that he did right? Christopher? Capitalize Miguel. What is something that we can tell him to kind of make it a little better? Braylon? spelling. So let's start with frustrated. Let's start with frustrated. How would we spell frustrated? F-R. Stray. T-R. Ted. T-E-D. This is what we're doing because his thoughts are on point. It's exactly what I ask. He's just like my husband. He's still struggling with his writing. Y'all do a lot better than he does, by the way. And I am recording it, and I will show him. This is his weakness. And try to be proactive. Okay, so there's something about tried. Okay, so we're going to... And then proact. There's one letter missing. C. Proactive. So his point is there. I mean, couldn't ask for a better sentence. Now it's just fine-tuning those details, okay? So Cordarius said Miguel felt frustrated and tried to be proactive. That's exactly what I'm looking for. I want to know how your character is feeling. Are we good so far? Okay. Now is when I told you yesterday, if you filled out that ticket, it actually makes things so much easier. I'm going to show you how to fill out the next part. Says we know this because on page I'm going to make this up because I don't know where my note catcher is. So the stuff that I'm writing is not true. So let's just say okay, now this isn't exactly correct, but it's going to look something like this because you guys did the work yesterday. You're going to pull from your work because that means that you don't have to look at the book anymore. You're done. You did that yesterday. If you didn't do it yesterday, you're going to need to do it today. So I'm going to write down, we know this because on page 209, please don't write down what I'm writing, of Esperanza Rising, you're going to start it off with it says, comma, and then now I'm putting quotation marks. What does that tell you? Ms. Trout is about to quote from the text. Well, I did that yesterday, so I'm just going to copy this down word for word. So I'm going to say, she stood in a trance. All right, so your job right now, you're going to get your first textual evidence that you found, and you're going to plug it up in this sentence. We know this because on page blah, blah, blah of Esperanza Rising, it says, comma, quotation marks, insert your textual evidence. I know Braxton has started. Okay, so I'm going to show you another example. This is Braxton's. So let's analyze his work and see what he's got going on. We know this because on page 153 of Esperanza Rising it says, Mama looked at her weakly. I am fine. His point of view is pretty on point because he was trying to prove that she was in denial and trying to be strong, right? So she looked at them weakly and said, I'm fine. Does that show that she's in denial? Absolutely. Does it show that she's trying to be strong? Absolutely. That's why it's called evidence, because it's proving his point. Okay, so his point and thought process is there. What's something that he did correctly, Daniel? He capitalized Mama. What is something else, Michaela B., that he did correctly? So Daniel said he capitalized M and Mama. What did he do with the textual evidence? He put quotations with the textual evidence. Charlie, what's something else that he did correctly? He put the period inside of the quotation marks. I personally only see one little error. Braxton, what would that be? JT. Yeah, L needs to be lowercase, right. L needs to be, well, we're not talking about the top. Yeah, he does need the L is what I was looking for. Thank you. Okay, very good, Braxton. That's exactly what I'm looking for. Is there anyone confused about this area? You know what to do. Okay, we're going to move on. Okay. So for me, it says, she stood in a trance. If you notice, it's not really asking for another textual evidence, so you could have picked this one or this one. You had two to choose from because there wasn't another one on there. But it does say this shows what. So that's going to be this part right here. If you had answered it, it's going to be easy for you. This shows Esperanza felt very confused. And yours is going to be different because she didn't know what to do. So now you're going to have your own input. So with whatever you put right here, you're going to tell me what you think this character felt and why. All right, you may begin. I'm going to be pulling examples here shortly. This shows that Esperanza that's really good. Erase that and put that right here. Okay. Felt what? How did you feel and why? I know what you're saying. Felt better because guys, this entire paragraph is still talking about just that one character. So don't jump from Miguel to your next character. It's all talking about that same character. Alright, so I'm going to show, give me 1 second, guys. I'm going to show Charlie's. This shows Esperanza felt frightful because she